Good evening, all.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, Amma. Now, in the last class, we winded up about control structures, and I was in a plan to give some more what's are MCQs, but later I came to know that you have to write an exam on Sunday. So what I did is nearly 25 questions I prepared for your examination in the form of MCQs. You better write them on Sunday. You'll come to know, and in the on that day after writing the exam, in case if you have any sort of doubts, you can clear. Okay. So that's why today I'm directly getting into the next topic that is very important called functions. Okay, and even the recent shared one particular document. Uh, have you received that all of you? Set up programs.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So that programs, most of them they are part of your TCS Code Vita sub problems. While solving a particular TCS Code Vita problem, this type of questions which I have shared with you in the last class, they may become the part of your Code Vita Code Vita what's question. Okay, so that's why still some more are there that I'll share by Sunday or Monday. That important programs. Okay, I hope that you have gone through that, and I told you to write the code. I don't know how many people have, but one girl asked about the doubt. I'm waiting for some other girls also. Once if they respond, then I'll share the code for each particular question. I have given the question and explained that logic behind that question. And then I'm expecting from you to write the code for it. How many people have written, sir? Yes, yes, Amma. Hello. Yes. Anyone respond? How many people have gone through that particular questions? No one? Yes, Amma? Who are they in the group?
Sir, we have seen the questions, but I didn't execute. We didn't execute it, sir.
Okay, what about others, Amma? You better try. Then only come to know that the importance of programs, how logically we can think. Okay, even that principals are also, I think, has taken the class. Okay, we got a good, very good feedback from you. It's a nice. So what I'm expecting is by Monday, all of you submit that solutions for the questions which I asked.
Yes,
Which
sir,
I shared.
sir. By
All of
Monday,
you.
we'll submit it, sir.
Yeah, you take time, no problem. And while solving them or converting them into code, if you are facing any problem, let me know. Only one girl she asked me, but I was waiting for you other people also for the response. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what about other Sama, Sanjana? Are you all listening to the class?
Yes,
Amina,
sir.
Janvi, Aisha.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I just gone through the questions, sir.
Yeah. Go through, Amma. Okay, you
Yes.
go through and just try to solve them. Okay. Otherwise, the next Sunday, not this Sunday. This Sunday I have MCQ exam mostly, but next Sunday I'll ask you to write the code. The code related exam will be there on loops. I'll request the coordinators to conduct. We'll see that. So meantime, you just try all that 5 or 6 questions I shared. So shall we start about today's class then?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, today's class is about functions. Amma. That's what the heart of C language, which I feel because C is structured language. I told you in the beginning, structuredness is nothing but modularity, and modularity is nothing but dividing the program into subprograms, and each subprogram is a function. Okay, in C we can treat, and C is nothing but if you see a big or small program, any complex program, you'll all find what's a collection of functions only, and one function calls the other function like this. All the collection of functions they call each other to solve a particular task. Okay, that's what the heart of C actually. So that functions which are there in C we are going to learn. Okay, so can anybody define what do you mean by a function then?
It is a
Yes,
self-defined block of statement which performs some coherent tasks.
very good, good, excellent. So in general terms also we can say it's a function is a set of or instructions which are meant for particular solving a particular task. So likewise, if anyhow any subtask is there related to that subtask, what are the logic related statements are there, you dump them and create a function and call it. It will work. So that's what about the functions. As she stated that function is a group of statements that together perform a particular task. And every C program is nothing but collection of functions. Okay, in case suppose if your C program is not having any functions, then it should have at least one function that we already observed, and that function is what's a main function, because your compiler start executing every C code from main on. So main is a mandatory function. Okay, sir, all of you. So the idea is to put some commonly repeated done tasks together to make a function, so that instead of writing the same code again and again for different inputs, we simply call the function. So write the function and call any number of times. Okay, no need to rewrite again and again the same code if it is okay useful for your particular program. That's what the importance of functions here. And functions concept is, of course, from C onwards. Not only C, even if you see that old programming language like as a Pascal, that also provides the concept of functions. Likewise, even if older programs, if you see the functions concept is there. Okay, and in C, in also Pascal-like languages, we not only have the functions but also have the concept called procedures. But the procedures and functions together are eliminated, and in C they combine together into a common task called as functions only. Can anybody tell me what is the importance of such a functions then? ఏం లేదమ్మా, ఫంక్షన్స్ డోంట్ థింక్ ఇన్ డిఫరెంట్ వే. ఇప్పటి వరకు రాసిన కోడ్ అంతా దేంట్లో రాసాము, వి రోట్ దట్ కోడ్ ఇన్ పర్టికులర్ ఫంక్షన్, దట్ ఫంక్షన్ ఈజ్ మెయిన్ ఫంక్షన్. So likewise, if you create your own function for a particular task to solve, task related all the statements we write them in that particular function, that's all. So it's not any special way towards a think. Like as how you have written all the code till now in main, since main is also a function, similar way we write in different functions which are created by us. So before I go for the types of functions and all that stuff related to the functions to discuss, can anybody tell me, once if you understand the importance of a function, what are the or sir advantages, or why we need functions, why we
To
use
reduce code redundancy, sir. Like if particular
Maybe.
function need not be described again and again and waste the lines, so that it increases the space complexity. We
Yeah.
need to code redundancy, decrease the code redundancy, sir.
Yeah, redundant is nothing but repetition. So suppose,
Duplication of data.
yeah, so suppose if you
Code
are
reusability.
yeah, first one we'll discuss redundancy.
It
Redundancy
looks
means
less complex, sir.
yeah, of course, so many advantages also we can say by vice versa with the help of this need of functions. Once we discuss from this need of functions, one can easily guess what are the advantages of using functions. So the first advantage, as she said, that is code redundancy. Redundancy means repetition. Okay, so no need to repeat again and again the same set of instructions. Instead of writing that instructions again and again, what we do, we write all that set of instructions once only in the form of a function, and that function we call it any number of times. And calling a function is won't take much time, hardly takes one line of code. So within one line of code, simply call the function, it will come and do the work. Okay, and again if you need that same function to be used in after few instructions, then again call that particular function by writing a single line of code. So likewise we can reuse it the same one, so that particular one reduces that. As a result, we say that the code size drastically reduces in case if you use the function. That's what the first advantage. Second advantage was the reusability of the code. Okay, reusability. So what do you mean by reusability? We can use again and again. The same function can be used in any program rather than writing the same code from the scratch. So that's what the reusability. So suppose if you are say already we know that clear screen commonly we use. It's a library function. I agree that CLR SCR in Turbo we have clear screen. For clear screen purpose we have a method called CLR SCR. And what we do? Okay, everybody uses for his or her own program. So in the beginning only or wherever we want CLR SCR we simply call, it will come and clear the screen. Okay, and the remaining task will be executed. So what we are using, that CLR SCR is written only once, Amma. It's not written multiple times. It is written once only, and its related information is stored in library function. And whenever we use CLR SCR, it clears the screen. So what you are doing, the same lines of code which is there in CLR SCR, everybody is using, okay, in their own program. So that is what the reusability. No need to write the code again and again from the scratch. So not only reduces the redundancy, but also reusability increases. And then maintenance. Can anybody justify the answer for maintenance, Amma? What do you mean by maintenance? Software maintenance. Generally, we use the terminology in software. Software maintenance.
In performing any particular task, we don't need to search for the whole source code. We can
Hmm.
just go to a particular function and check where the error is.
Any other answer, Amma? Maintenance. Maintenance means, suppose if you are, if the user is expecting some sort of changes in that particular task, then no need to write that entire code again. Just go to that particular functionality which user is expecting, and in that functionality, just slight changes. Whatever that user is expecting the changes, that changes you do it and recompile it. That's all. That's what the maintenance. అంటే ఏంది, యూజర్ తగ్గట్టుగా ఆ ఫంక్షనాలిటీని చేంజ్ చేసుకుంటూ పోవడం అంతే. అది మొత్తం కోడ్ చేంజ్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. Some part of the code if you change is quite enough. So that's what about the maintenance. This also helps in maintenance, as we have to change at one place if we make future changes to the functionality. So రేపటి నాడు యూజర్ ఇలా కాదు సార్, నాకు ఇలా కావాలి, ఇన్ని రోజులు నేను ఇలా నడిపించాను, okay, for these many days I use the function in this way, now the function has to be behave little change. So if you want that little change, simply go to that particular function and change accordingly the user test. So that's what called maintenance. So maintenance will become very easy. Okay, మళ్ళీ ఫస్ట్ నుంచి స్క్రాచ్ నుంచి ఆల్సో పర్లేదు. No need to write that entire code because already is available in the form of the function, and in that particular function, wherever small change with the user is expecting, that small change can be easily done. So that's what about the maintenance. And the fourth one is need of usage of function is what? Debugging. Debugging means what, sir?
Finding and correcting the errors, sir.
Very good. Easily we can locate the errors, and easily we can correct the errors. So locating and correcting the errors will become very easy if you use the functions. And nevertheless, the last one, which most of the people we forget, what it is, sir? Abstraction. So tell me, what do you mean by abstraction then?
Hiding the implementation
Without knowing
details,
the
showing only the functionality to the user.
That's all, and that absolutely we do it here in using functions. Are that abstraction purely we show in C language through functions. And of course, the data abstraction, method abstraction, so many types are there, and that abstraction word commonly we listen in OOPS concept. So that abstraction we'll find it in C functions also. What that means, can anybody know what is the logic behind finding of square root, Amma? If I pass a particular value, then we have to find the square root of that particular value which we pass. So instead of remembering the logic, what we do, we simply call sqrt function. Sqrt function is a library function which is available in math.h. So we include the header file and we call sqrt by passing the value, and simply what the sqrt will do, it calculates the square root of the value which we pass. So what we are doing here, we are least bothered about the implementation details. sqrt function, how it is implemented, what is the logic which is implemented, which is used in the function, we are simply least bothered. We
It
bother only
hides the
about what, sir?
implementation details and shows only the functionality to the user, sir.
That's what I'm trying to explain here. It hides completely. So no need to bother about what is the logic behind it. Simply call, it will work. That's all. So many library functions are there whose logic we never open and we never see that. Okay, we simply call whenever we require. So that what about the abstraction, hiding the implementation details and showing only the required fun to the users. Okay, so that's what about the abstraction. And these are all the need for the usage of the function. So why we need means these are the reasons that why we need functions. Hope that you understand, Amma.
Yes, sir.
Then comes, so when we talk about the function details here, discussing about the functions in C language is very easy. Hardly 1 hour we can, within which we can mind 1.5 hour we can mind up. But the same thing, if we compare with the C++ or Java like languages, in functions only these OOPS concepts in which we find a lot of variations. Can anybody tell me in OOPS what type of functions you will get? C language is very easy. You know how many types of functions are there? There are two types only. User-defined functions are there and library functions are there. And within that user-defined, which we are writing, then we can write them in the recursive form also or non-recursive form. Similarly, while calling a particular function, we can call by passing the values, or we can call by passing the addresses. That is what call by reference we call. So only this much stuff is there to discuss about the functions in C language. But this particular functions concept, once if we shift from C to any object-oriented programming, lot of things are there. Like as maybe you have heard about friend functions are there, constructors are there, which are also functions. Destructors are there. Okay, overloaded functions, overriding functions. So many details are there about what are functions to discuss in C++ languages. But when it comes to the C language, very few details are enough to understand the concept. So among them, let us go for the types of functions. We know broadly the types of functions can be divided into two categories. One, we define them as library functions, and library functions and their importance we already know. So each function which is whose declarations are already provided in the header files, and definitions are also there. And whenever we need any support of library function, we suitable header file we include, and that function we directly use. Okay, such a functions. And of course, based on the functionality, the different header files are all provided for us to include. So that's what about no need to worry about the library functions, because library functions as a part of that we can learn. Then we are interested in what the second half, user defined functions. Can we create our own functions? Means the answer is yes, sir. We can write our own functions. Okay, and the functions which are created by us are called as user defined functions. For our own task to solve, we create. Okay, and the syntax of such a user defined function is, the prototype completely is return type space function name, then function call operator. We call these brackets called function call operator, within which we pass the arguments. Okay, and then begin as usual, like how we begin that main method. In a similar way, every function also has to have what's our begin body, begin what's our parenthesis, and in that one we write all the instructions related to the task and we close that. This is what the prototype of any function in C language if user wants to define his or her own function. Now, these user defined functions will have three aspects. Not only user defined functions, I can even say that library functions also will have the three aspects. What are the three aspects? Means every function should have declaration, we call it as a function declaration. Second one is function definition, and the third one is function call. So in order to write the functions, these three should be there. Okay, and the third one of course is based on the usage we call it. So overall, the function related aspect contains three: declaration, definition, and call. So what do you mean by declaration here? What do you mean by declaration? Suppose in a variables also we declare, na? So before we use any variable in our logic here, what we do in C language, we declare that particular variable and its type. What is the type of that particular variable? Is that an integer variable or a character type variable? So data type followed by the variable name, and then in case if you are interested in passing any value, we can pass by saying the equal symbol. With the help of equal symbol, we can pass even the value. So that's what about the declaration of a variable. Similarly, if you are defining your own function, it is better you provide the declaration of that particular function before you call. Okay, so that's what about the function declaration. And the function declaration will have return type, space, function name, then argument list. Here, no need to specify the variables related to the arguments. Simply, if you at least pass the data types, that is also enough. Say, for example, I am interested in adding the two numbers, which has to be done by a function. So I'm expecting that the task of adding of the two variables to be done by a particular function. In that case, what I can do is the declaration I can do like this. I have decided that my function name is add function. Name of the function is add. Okay, so therefore the name is given to the function, and I'm expecting that after addition of the two integers, the return type also, I'm expecting something in return from the add function. So therefore I have written that return type also. I mentioned the return type saying that it is integer. function name is add, and this particular function is taking say 2 arguments, and the 2 arguments are also of integer type. Then in that case, simply I can say int comma int. No need to say int a comma int b like that. That way also is of course allowed, but simply if you specify that how many arguments are there and each argument is of which type, if you simply specify by or sir, with the help of the comma, if you separate them, that is enough. And after that function declaration, you also end with a semicolon. So this we call it as a function declaration. Okay, sir. Or prototype declaration, function prototype declaration. That's what the one aspect about the function. And the second aspect is function definition. Definition means the logic, what are the number of statements to solve that particular state task. The statements related all that we dump as a body of the particular function. So thus, now again, if I come back to my add function, I want to define that. Previously I declared, now I want to define it. In that case, what I can do is, remember again, return type is mandatory, method name is mandatory. Now this time we have to specify the variables. Of course, it is taking 2 arguments, and both the argument names are, first argument name is a and second argument name is b. Okay, so both are of integer type separated by comma. Then begin, how we begin that main method. In a similar way, every method should have begin, and in that one I can say return, or in detail let me write, I'm taking one more variable, say c, and then I want to say c is equal to a plus b. Then I want to return that resultant value. So return c, and then semicolon. After that, since the task is over, task related logic is over, so I'm closing my function. So this we call it as a definition. Function definition. Second aspect. First aspect is declaration. Second one is definition. And then the third aspect is of course function call. So we define the function, what the function has to do, but we didn't use it. So if you want to use that, then we can call that this particular function from main. Say I want to use this particular function in my main. So what I can do?
Add of a comma b.
Yeah, well, before that, let me take your local variables. X is 5 and y is equal to say something called 6. So then of course I'm even taking the z also, say after that I'll keep the same colon. Then z is equal to add of, I want to pass the values. What are the
X
task
comma
values?
y.
X comma y. So the parameters I'm passing, and the resultant I'm storing it in z. And then what are the printf statement I want to write to check the value of z, I'm printing it. Don't worry about other details, Amma. Just we are interested in this here. I'm calling from here that add method. So once if you call, the control will come out of this particular one and will start executing the body of this particular add function. After execution of the body, when control reaches to this end parenthesis, the control will go back to the caller. So here, these are the 2 functions we are having. One is main and the other one is add method. From main, we are calling add method. Therefore, this is caller. We call this main method as a caller. And which method we are calling? Add method we are calling. So therefore, this is the function called callee. So caller function and callee function. So once this was about the overall 3 aspects: declaration, definition, and this is called call. Here, from here we are calling. From main we are calling the add method. So that's what the third one. Okay, sir. So this you will find not only for the user-defined functions, but also the same thing we do it even in the case of what the library functions also. Okay then. When it comes to the function definition, the complete prototype having a lot of details. What are the details here? Every function is having a name. Okay, every function should have a name. And the function, every function should have a body. That is what the logic here we are expecting to write. And generally we expect something in return. In case if you are expecting something written from a function, then the return type also should be mentioned. If you are not expecting anything from a function, then return type should be mentioned as void. Generally I do. For main, I never write what's the return type as integer. That since I'm not expecting anything from main returns to the system, it will not return to me. So therefore, I'm not interested in any return value from main. That's why I mentioned void to the main. Similarly, you are also, if you are not expecting anything in return from your user-defined function, then that user-defined function in front of which the return type we write as a void here. So generally, but function will have a return type. And the third one is parameters. Parameters are nothing but arguments. As we have written in add function, there are two parameters we have passed, a and b, and here these two are also passed by what's the x and y. So these two are called parameters, and in this one the x y are called as actual parameters, and which are further copied into the respective variables a and b. Therefore, this a and b now are become what's the formal parameters. All and all we call them as parameters or arguments. So I repeat once again, while calling the add method, the actual variables whatever that we pass, so these variables are called as actual parameters. X and y are called actual parameters, and that we pass at the time of calling the function. And after calling these two, when they are copied into the respective variables called a and b, here this a and b are called as formal arguments or formal parameters. So every function generally accepts some arguments. Okay, and whatever the arguments that user has passed, based on the arguments, it will do its functionality. It will apply its functionality. So these are about the function body when we talk. And return type, just now I told you that if you want to return any value, then we have to use the statement called return. R-E-T-U-R is a keyword, return keyword through which we return value from the particular function to the caller. So then what about the return value of a function? So this what through this also one can understand about all the aspects related to the function prototype. Here add is a method having two parameters x and y. They are called as parameters, and name of the function is add, and it is a returning integer, and integer type we are expecting in return, and the return statement is of course returning the sum value. And when this is called from the main, the control flow will take place from main to function, and function to back again name. This is what the control flow of the functions. Then, based on this overall concept of calling passing the parameters and expecting in return something, we can design the 4 different types of functions. This generally we learn even in the regular class also. What are they? Function without arguments and without return value is what first step of what's a function which we can write. Or the second user defined function which we can design is what? A function without arguments, but we expect something in return from the function, therefore with return value. And the third one is with arguments and without return value, and lastly with arguments and with return value. So these are the 4 different types of models one can write based on the usage. Is important in Chepalemama. Okay, we cannot say that depends upon our usage, depends upon our application, whichever that particular type of the function is useful, that same type we write it. So all and all 4 types: without arguments, without return, with arguments, with return, with arguments, without return, without arguments, with return. So 4. So that 4, the same example through which I'm trying to explain here. And the declaration generally we do before the function call. So if you see the left side, without arguments and without return value, some function I have written, in which I have designed a sum function, in which what the sum function will do, it will create the 2 variables and will add and will print. So on that particular sum function, I'm calling it from main. So observe carefully the sum at the time of declaration. If you observe, you'll understand how it is actually. See, the declaration name is sum, not taking any arguments. So that means what? Without arguments. And remember that sum is not returning to the caller, main caller. So therefore, the return type is also mentioned as void. So thus we can say this type of category of a function comes under the function without argument and without any return value. So what the function is doing then, it is having its own local variable. So we declared a local variables a and b here, function is declaring, and we are reading the 2 variables, and what are the 2 variables we have read, then the same 2 variables we are simply printing. And this sum is creating themselves the variables, adding, and nothing that it is returning to the main function. So therefore, this is what the first category. And the second category, without arguments and with return value. Same again, same code, same program, but we are, the main is expecting something in return from the sum function. That's why this time the return type is changed to integer. But observe that the arguments are not passed. Therefore, this category of function comes under without arguments and with return value. And here the sum, of course, declaring the 2 variables, local variables, it is reading the 2 variables, and the addition, of course, return to the caller, return to the main. So the control after return a plus b, the resultant of a plus b will be stored in result value, and the result value we are printing in the main method. Previously we printed in the sum method itself. Now this time in the main method, after receiving the return value from the sum, we are printing it. So this was the second category. Likewise, the third category is with arguments without return value. So now this time what the main is doing here, it is creating the two variables a and b. Okay, and that two variables which are created by main are passed to the sum function. And what the sum function is doing, it is receiving the two variables a and b and adding them and printing, but not returning to the main back. Therefore, the return type is void, but the parameters this time are not null. Rather, they are holding them. Rather, two arguments are passed to the sum method intending. And the last version is this is what the version commonly people use or users want to write, where a function is taking the arguments and also returning back to the caller. So that's why the return type is integer. Two arguments are of integer type, and here main is passing the two arguments and expecting return back from the sum method, which we are showing it in result. So this is what about the fourth aspect, or the fourth type of function. And I repeat once again, ఏది ఇంపార్టెంట్ అనేది ఏం చెప్పలేము. It depends upon the type of the application which we are writing. Accordingly, we create, we design that particular function, whether to pass the arguments or not to pass the arguments, whether to expect something in return from the function or not to expect. All that depends upon the application which we are writing. But in common, the fourth one is what? Passing the arguments and expecting back something from the function. The fourth one, with arguments and with return value, commonly we write. This is what about the overall functions. Actual చెప్పాలంటే functions concept ఇంతేనమ్మా. But in this one, calling procedures are there. There are two calling procedures are there, called call by value and call by reference. That we'll discuss it later. Now, today what we do, we discuss about the recursions here. So what do you mean by recursion? All of you. We'll wind up the recursions, and I told you that
The
this is the
function
place.
call itself
Yes,
is
Amma.
called recursion.
Yes, Amma. Yes, absolutely. And here, these recursive functions, I told you that this is the second place where one can improve the logic, Amma. ECEEE people will practice a lot of questions here, because whatever that most of the loop control structure oriented programs can be easily converted into recursive functions. So recursion also we'll find it in mathematics. Okay, recursive functions we also find them in mathematics. So from that mathematical design only, one can easily design the C recursive functions. But the definition of recursive functions in C language is what, sir? A function which calls itself is called as recursion. Okay, a function which is calling itself. Previously we have seen that the sum function was called by main method. The sum function was called by main function. But here in recursion, what actually happens is the function calls itself. Okay, such a function we call it as a recursive function. And the background behind this recursion design is, of course, a mathematical background only. From that only it is taken. If I want to recall that particular mathematical aspect related to the recursion, we learn in functions, intermediate, long back in intermediate, we learn functions. In limits also we find recursive relation. Okay, continuity, when we solve that continuity programs and all continuity problems. So in recursive functions, mathematical aspect looks like this. Suppose if you want to go for writing the recursive function for factorial of a number, then how we can write f of x or f of n, whatever it may be. Take it as n only. Okay, f of n, how we define recursive
n into n
mathematical
minus 1. N into n minus
okay,
1 n
general
minus 2.
we know. Yes, Amma. Expansion is n into n minus 1 into, like this, up to what, sir? Into 3 into 2 into 1 up to 1. We recursively reduce 1 by 1 and we multiply all. Okay. But in mathematically, how can we write recursive way of expressing this function means it is equal to 1 if n is what, sir? 0. Or otherwise, we can say it is equal to n into f of n minus 1. Am I right? This is what, when if n is greater than or equal to 1. So I have seen this type of mathematical notation in mathematics, sir. Where I know in discrete structures we learn this concept of recursions, solving the recursive equations. So here in mathematics, in function like things, we learn this concept of what's a recursion, and here is the recursive method of what's a factorial. So what we do we go on substitute the values in place of n until it reaches to the base case. So every recursive function, if I want to write a particular function mathematically in recursive way, then what we expect is that every function should have a stopping point. A recursive function always should have a stopping point, and that stopping point we call it as a base case. We call it as a base case. So you should identify what is the base case here. For a particular function, in case you find any base case, then we stop. Okay, Rama? Here, what is the base case of factorial here? When n reaches to 0, this is what my base case. If n becomes 0, then simply that f of n will take a base case value called what it is 1. If you don't have this base case, then it will become infinite. Okay, the series will become infinitely expanded. So that's why to stop any recursion, whether in mathematics or in what's a computer science recursive functions we are designing, then what we expect is that the function should have a base case. In case if any function is having base case, then that particular function can be designed easily using recursion. So similarly, can anybody tell me how can you write the recursive mathematical notation for a power n? Yes, Amma? Can anybody try? Say f of n is a power n. Can you express mathematically in a recursive way, a recursive equation, mathematical recursive equation? How can you write if so? Yes, Amma. F of n is equal to?
If n is equals to 0,
Very
return
good. Ah,
1.
return. Very good. Because anything raised to 0 is 1. So this possible when n reaches to 0. Okay. Otherwise, Amma?
Otherwise, the a into power
A
of n minus 1.
f of n minus 1. Avuna kada? Yes or no? A into f of n minus 1. That is a into what is f of n minus 1? A power n minus 1. And again, if you want to write a power n minus 1 is like in what, sir? A into a power n minus 2. So like this, it goes on, expands up till a reaches to a power 0. Once if power reaches to 0, here we replace with 1. That's what my base case. So this is what the case when n greater than or equal to 1. This is the case we call it as a base. When n reaches or drops to 0, then we simply return 1. Otherwise, we recursively multiply that a with the next value of n minus 1, lower value, lower power value. And this we do it when n is greater than or equal to 1. So this is the other way. The same f of n, a power n, now we designed it mathematically in a form of a recursion. So likewise, we should have the power of thinking that can we write for a particular function, do we have any base case? If the base case is there, then of course we can easily design the recursive function. We can easily write the recursive function code for it. That's what about the recursion derived from the mathematics only. So the same example here, I did it here, sum of natural numbers. Recursive words are factorial chain. Now here in this example, I'm showing that how we can add the natural numbers, first n natural numbers recursively. Now tell me what are the advantages of recursion. Okay, we'll practice more on this, don't worry, in the next class. But tell me what are the advantages and disadvantages of recursion, sir? Can anybody? Do you have only advantages or all are disadvantages only we have? Yes, Amma? Anyone? When you have straightforward functions concept in C language, why we have to write recursion?
Complexity will get decreased, sir.
Complexity will get reduced. No, Amma? No. Actually, certain problems are there where if you write the code complexity definitely get increases. Okay, and maybe sometimes additionally we have to take the support of what is it, some other data structures, or we have to design our own data structure. That data structure has to be used in your function if you don't use the recursion. So some applications or some algorithms are there, they naturally fall under this recursion. For example, I have seen the tree traversals. I have seen that in data structures you might have learned about tree traversals. So whether in order, pre-order, post-order, and level order, these are the 4 different types of what's binary tree traversals are there, tree traversals. So the tree traversals, in case if you implement them without using recursion, the code size drastically increases. Okay, but whereas if you write using recursion, then within 2-3 lines we can wind up the code. Just you recall that code, whatever that you learn in the term of data structures. Similarly, Tower of Hanai is there, one more algorithm. So likewise, many of our divide and conquer algorithms are there, which we can easily write them by using recursion. For example, DFS. Do you remember depth first search algorithm?
Yes, sir.
Where we use, I mean, what is the application of it, sir? Depth first DFS.
In traversing a tree, sir.
Tree traversal, okay. Until I think you are explaining it for AI. Through AI, you are telling. Oh, in AI also, of course, we use DFS. But generally, graph traversal technique it is. Which one? The DFS. And tree is, of course, one type of graph. I agree. So in DFS, what we do, in case if you use a recursion, the code will become very easy. In case if you won't use recursion, then we have to take the data structure support. Okay, whether you remember or not. Am triple and EC, don't worry about this. All this we are going to cover. Just I'm testing that. I'm asking for EC, CSE and IT students here about this. So these are here. What I'm trying to say, some algorithms are there by default. They have a nature of recursion. So for such a programs, it is better you write them in recursive form itself. That is what the advantage we can say. Recursion provides a clean and simple way to write the code, because drastic over 10-15 lines of code will be drastically reduced to 2-3 lines of code. That's what the advantage. But coming to the disadvantage here, the recursive programs have greater space requirement. I'll tell you why. Again, those who learned about what's a PPL, you learn that one, what is the importance of recursion, what is the disadvantage of recursion. Whenever a particular function is called here, a stack is going to be generated, and that stack is, a node related to the stack is going to be generated, which is dumped into the stack, and the stack retains its memory until all the function calls are vanished. So therefore, a lot of memory is what required here when we are designing the recursion. That's what the care to be taken. Okay, and the second one is also having greater time requirement, because the function calls and return overheads are there. So as one girl, she is telling about what's the time complexity reduces. Basically, if you broadly see that, the time complexity of course increases, because every time the function has to call. As a result of that, what the compiler has to do means it has to generate all the related stuff. Related to the functions has to be generated, and the control should be jumped to that particular function. And after jumping to the function has to be executed. And if the function is returning anything, that return value has to be taken and come back to the what's a caller, and there that at the caller position the return value has to be stored. So this jumping from one function to the other function and coming back is what takes a lot of time. So that's why one way the time requirements increases. The only advantage we can say is some problems are basically fall under the category of recursion. On such a particular or for such type of particular problems, it is better you design them by using recursion. Otherwise, if you talk about the space and time complexity, it drastically increases. Particularly, space complexity drastically increases. So this in-depth understanding of this, will do it in the next class only, Amma. I have given only introduction. And this recursion, can anybody, before I wind up that class, this recursion itself, we can design it in two ways. Can anybody tell me what are the two ways in which we can design the recursion? A common question to all. Given that recursive definition, and from the mathematical concept only, we derived the concept of recursion. And remember, when you are writing, when you are plan to write a particular function recursively, then be careful that check that your functionality should have a base case. If that functionality is having base case, then easily one can design any program in recursive way. Okay, but we also discuss about the advantage and disadvantage of designing recursive. Tell me, before I wind up, that how many types of recursions are there? Yes, Sama. So open question to all.
It is direct recursion and indirect recursion.
Okay, who answered this? Srujana has answered. Any other people have heard about that? These two, there are two ways we can write the recursive function: direct recursion and indirect recursion. Direct recursion is the one which is actually the definition which I defined it in the beginning. That is function call itself. That we call it as a direct recursion. And indirect recursion is not a function calls itself. Rather, say assume that there are two functions are there, A and B. Then A calls the function B, and B again calls A. So likewise, A calls B and B calls A, and this calling of each other will take place. In such a case, it is also called as a recursion, but such a recursion we call it as a indirect recursion. And there are algorithms are there which of course fall under the category called indirect recursion. So can anybody tell me CSE people and IT people, can anybody give an example of indirect recursion? Algorithm which falls under the category of indirect recursion. Do you remember any such an algorithm where there are two functions which call each other instead of calling itself? Okay, the two functions call each other. Indirect recursion example. Yes, Amma. Recently we learned this algorithm. This algorithm is encountered, okay, in AI subject in the very beginning chapter. Yes, Rujana, anyone? Give an example of indirect recursion. I've given a hint. Is there any algorithm? Do you remember any example of indirect recursion? Sujana? Or any other? You all learn AI, Amma? Please tell me that. I learned the subject AI, CSC and ITs. Yes, Amma. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Tell me the example of it.
Printing the numbers 1 to n.
Indirect recursion, is that required for printing of numbers 1 to n? I'll tell you the example of indirect recursion. One of the examples which I remember is what? Alpha beta pruning algorithm. You know, Minimax algorithm, alpha beta pruning algorithms, which comes under AI in the very first search algorithm, state space search algorithms. Under state space search algorithms, we have alpha beta pruning algorithm is there, where the function alpha calls beta function and beta function further calls alpha function. So like these two functions, they call each other. So this is what the best example of what's a indirect recursion. So we'll discuss about all these in the next class. Okay, Nama?
Yes,
All of
sir.
you.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Nama. Thank you. Is Chandrika madam is there in the class?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Amma.
Yes, sir.
Chandrika madam, I'm a little early. I'm winding up just 10 minutes before.
Okay, sir. No issues. No problem, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, all of you. Have a good weekend.
Girls, everybody join your mentoring me.
Kindly leave the meeting, everybody.